Redwoods capital. All eyes are on the championship series of the PLL, a format that will look very similar to what you'll see in the Olympics in 2028. The PLL Championship Series on ESPN is powered by Ticketmaster. The top 4 teams from the PLL will take part. We'll have a round robin for the first few days. And then Sunday, the semifinals. Monday will be the championship. And with that, we say good evening from the St. James in Springfield, Virginia. Anish, Shroff, Ryan, Boyle. Oh, how best to explain what you're about to see if you haven't seen Sixes Lacrosse. Triple shot espresso added to a liter of one of those aorta-popping energy drinks.
Yeah, absolutely. Up and down, frenetic pace, positionless lacrosse. What's great, you're going to see some attackmen and some defensemen kind of mix it up in the middle of the field. 30-second shot clock, high-scoring affairs. This is so much fun to watch. Think of like hockey and lacrosse, basketball and lacrosse, kind of the lacrosse version of those two sports.
Yeah, smaller field as well, and the field dimensions certainly play a part in the strategy.
Yeah, you take the 100 yards by 60, and we're gonna shrink that kind of all the way down, that 52-second shot clock. Let's tighten that up a bit as well. Now we're playing 76 by 39 and just 30 seconds to get a shot off, and critically, the 2-point arc is now at just 13 yards. So a lot of guys you wouldn't think of as necessarily having that range, now that is in play for them.
Yeah. Face-offs only at the beginning of the quarters. You mentioned the 30-second shot clock, and no long poles.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see some of these defensemen without a long pole in their hands, and meanwhile, some offensive players are going to be able to feast on those matchups.
Yeah, the first matchup of ours features Redwoods and Cannons. Now it's the California Redwoods, the Boston Cannons. City and geographical additions to the team names this year. Cannons, one of the surprise teams last year, went 7-3, 1-9 the year before. It's going to be an exciting watch.
Yeah, almost worst to almost first there, and they were really led there by their offense in terms of that transformation, and Marcus Holman led that as the attackman of the year. Asher Nolting, the only player in the PLL with 20 goals and 20 assists. Such a dynamic duo, and Drenner can shoot the lights out with both hands. Ethan Raw, keep your eyes on him. He was second team All-Pro as a rookie, a cause turnover machine, but without playing with his long pole.
Dana Boyle was the only one who got the Valentine's Day dress code. She's with Brian Holman.
I'm a little upset no one else is wearing pink, not even Coach Holman. Coach Holman, you were pretty clear about the big plans that you had for this organization, and after 1 year under your belt as the head coach for the Cannons, what do you hope to accomplish in this championship series?
Just honestly, Dana, just to continue to grow, right? We're nowhere near where we ultimately want to be, but we're making progress. And I said it last year when I was here, when I just got hired, that we would be playing here, and we are. So that's progress to me. Now we need to continue to learn how to compete at an elevated level and just continue to grow the program with the pillars that we've established. So, yep.
You've got some lacrosse royalty on the sidelines with you in Brody Merrill. What about his skill set as a coach and a player lends itself as an asset to this organization?
Absolutely, and more so, honestly, as a person. I mean, Brody's the real deal. He commands instant respect, which he's earned. But the guys are starting to get to know the personal side of him, and I think that's the full picture of Brody and what he can offer. So I was very fortunate to get him, convince him to come and work with me. So it was great.
Thanks, Brian. Good luck out there.
Thank you, Dana. Yep. Happy Valentine's.
Meanwhile, for the California Redwoods, Romar Dennis was the star of this tournament last year.
He won the Golden Stick Award. He had 15 two-pointers, and he is flanked by Rob Pinnell, arguably the most decorated pro, career 9-time All-Star. Expect for him to operate behind the cage, which we haven't seen a lot of. And then there's a lot of muscle here. You look at Garrett Epple, the reigning defenseman of the year from the PLL last summer, and Ricky Niazon, a captain on the Stanford football team as a linebacker, 1 year at University of Virginia. All eyes are going to be on him, Anish. I am so excited to see him out of lacrosse field in this Sixes format.
Miazon, Dennis, Perkovic, Montgomery. They've got some guys who can bomb it, and Dana Boyle is with Romar Dennis.
Romar, you're often described as a human cheat code out there on the field. Having experienced this last year in the Sixes format, what did you learn about yourself in this game?
It's a long week, so it's not really about today. It's about those last two.
How about playing with faces like Ricky Miezon and Perkovic? How can you guys establish some chemistry out there?
We're together all week. It's a lot of downtime, a lot of bonding, so we're gluing pretty quickly.
Good luck out there. Thanks.
Thank you.
The old Teddy Roosevelt line, speak softly but carry a big stick. Romar Dennis. Jack Kelly, Team USA goalie in the cage for the California Redwoods. Going to get a little time used to saying California Redwoods and Boston Cannons. Colin Kirst in goal for the Cannons. Played at Lehigh and Rutgers, folks. Get ready to play. Only face-off of the quarter. It's won by the Redwoods, and they are ready to go. 30-second shot clock. Ryan, hold on to your seats.
It was won by Rob Pennell. I gotta imagine that was his first face-off ever taken as a pro.
Here is Pennell, all-time scorer in the history of USA Lacrosse, and that is a good goal. No face-off. Turn, rake, go play.
Yeah, and you're seeing the Redwoods, their whole shift went back, so they went O to D, and then I would expect them to come off almost like a hockey shift.
And there's another rule wrinkle. The shot on the run by Josh Stout, former Utah Ute. The backup rule does not apply in the sixes format.
You gotta be ultra accurate with your shots, and more importantly, shot selection has become so vital.
Perkovic, a high bouncer, and again, 10-on-10 field lacrosse. We're used to seeing a shot go out of bounds, closest to the ball. When it goes out, awarded possession. This is more like basketball. If it goes out on you, it's the other team's ball. Cannons will set up their attack. Chris Aslanyan. Defended by Hennenberg with a hard shot. And that was last touch by California, so Bubba Fairman will trigger.
A good piece there by Kelly. You could see him motioning with his arm. He definitely felt that. These goalies see a lot of rubber.
Matt Campbell, former Villanova Wildcat. That's a 2. It's a 13-yard arc, which is a little bit closer in than what you see in the PLL.
The guys that you wouldn't normally think to have that type of range. And on top of that, not just a set shot, but on the run.
Here comes Ricky Miezon, his first shot, a miss. And PLL play, it's a 15-yard arc, 13 here, so give some of the long-range shooters an extra step or two they can take.
And with Miezon, he's going to be able to get that shot pretty much anytime he wants. So for him this week, it's really going to be, can he put those shots on net?
That's Matt Cavanaugh, his shot saved by Kelly. Up ahead, Miezon, double teamed. Knocked loose, ground ball picked up by Ethan Rahl. He normally plays with a pole, no pole, so he's a short stick. Pat Aslanyan, down the alley, shoots high, turnover.
And if you look at last season's ground balls, Rahl tops in terms of players in the championship series. Coming into today, he had the most of all the players eligible in championship series.
Second team All-Pro last year.
Most of all the players eligible in championship series.
Second team All-Pro last year when he had 20 caused turnovers as well. There's a hard shot by Dennis, rattles the cage. Kirst springs out to retrieve, and every time number 5 in yellow's got it, hold your breath.
He gets like the Steph Curry treatment. You know, as soon as he crosses the midfield line, you know, defenders are out up on him, and he shot that well beyond the 13-yard arc.
Here comes Asher Nolting, his shot saved by Kelly. Perkovic the other way, lost the ball, and scooped up by Marcus Holman. We get a push. It'll stay with the Cannons. Holman was the attackman of the year in the PLL last season for the resurgent Cannons. Here comes Fairman down the alley. Good look, shot scored. 3-1 Cannons here in the early going. Now Chris Collins, former Delaware goalie, the acting head coach for the Redwoods. No Nat St. Laurent.
You got double blue hens on the sideline between Collins and John Grant Jr.
Now Jules Hennenberg shakes his defender, gets a clean look, beats Kirst low. It's 3-2.
And I see Hennenberg's potential in this format just being through the roof. His ability to create his own shot, shoot from range, and distribute the ball.
Stout gets devoured, comes back to Nolting. Out of the box, Holman.
Stay in front here.
This is Kavanaugh on the perimeter. Miezon tried to stick check it loose, had some English on it. Kavanaugh retrieves, shot clock expires. Redwoods ball. We'll get to listen in during the game to Marcus Holman and Ricky Miezon, both mic'd up. That's an easy look and a score for Kevin Rogers.
Rogers played last championship series with Chrome. Really productive championship series. 10 1-point goal, 3 2-pointers, plus an assist on Chrome, who won the championship series in 2023.
Shot and a goal by Chris Aslanyan. And you know, people have pronounced his name many different ways. Aslanian. Ryan, you found out it was...
Make it 2 syllables, Aslanyan.
Aslanyan. And you went straight to the source.
Straight to the source.
Rob, you.
So when you're yelling at us, why are you saying his name wrong? That's how he says his name.
No, we'll still probably mess it up.
Right, we probably will. This is Josh Stout, and his shot saved by Kelly. Stout played for Brian Holman and Marcus Holman and teammate Adam Gittleman at Utah, was the first recruit for Brian Holman when he took over. Actually, Stout spent 2 years playing club lacrosse as Utah was transitioning into a D1 program.
We asked about Coach Holman about Stout, and he was just gushing and like a son to him. I mean, he could barely hold back the emotion being able to coach him at the professional level, just how much he means to him.
There is Miezon. Oh, low to high bazooka. Ricky has entered the chat.
Get up. Get up. Stay put.
Low angle, no problem.
We only got a glimpse, and a small glimpse of what he could do last year at Virginia. Nolting tried the face dodge. Good defense there. Miezon wants it. Here comes Ricky, former Stanford linebacker, charging downhill. Now puts on the brakes.
Not to be forgotten about Miezon, he's still getting his MS in commerce at UVA, so he's still going to school. Jumps in with the club team to get some reps.
That's got to be a flag. Matt Kavanaugh basically put Rob Pennell in a chokehold.
Cannon's foul on the play, number 50, 30-second technical, hold.
These are the awkward matchups that sixes affords you. You got Matt Kavanaugh, typically a field attackman, matched up with Rob Pennell, the all-time leading scorer in Team USA international history. A little bit of mismatch.
Ooh, you felt that one. Ryan Tierney, saw him getting loose earlier. 5-4, Redwoods on top, less than 2 minutes to go in a photon fast opening quarter. 8-minute quarters, not a lot of pauses. Marcus Holman with a 2-point answer.
You gotta get out and defend that 2-point line. That's where Holman shows his experience, having played in this last year.
That one hits the pipe from Nakai Montgomery, and it takes a hard ricochet. Out of bounds, it'll be Cannon's ball.
Get up. Catch up.
Now the main scoreboard says it's tied at 5, so that shot by Holman, they can look at that at the end of the quarter to determine if it was a 1 or a 2. Here comes Campbell, top shelf, and that's one more for the Cannons.
And Campbell wisely got his stick back to the inside, kind of went down the alley. His stick was on his right hand. That's the low, efficient shot that if you miss it sixes, it's a turnover. Campbell gets his stick back to the inside before burying it up top.
Miezon, the cutter, denied by Kirsch. Terrific save. Tevlin had a great pass. Miezon the cut, everything but the goal. Now Nolting the other way. Double teamed, absorbs the hit from Dennis. Nolting feeds back up top, it's intercepted. Here comes RP3. Pennell leading the break, fires with a light left hand, save by Kirsch.
This is the pace of sixes, baby.
Head on a swivel. Chris Aslanian, shot blocked by Tevlin, a former captain at Yale and Notre Dame, who was a Swiss Army knife in college and in the pros.
And now you could catch your breath.
Hey, we're mayday here.
But it's that back and forth dynamic action, especially off a made save. Made saves equals transition.
California can hold for one. Montgomery into the crease. The goal is good. Final 10 ticks. Here comes Rawl. His skip pass deflected. Perkovic wants it. It's on the ground. Sergio's got it. Time expires. It would not have counted anyway. And Kirsch turns it away. We are underway. 12 goals in the opening 8 minutes. Statistician Russ DeLynn keeping all of them by hand. He is the hardest working man in show business today. He'll have carpal tunnel by the end of the weekend. Yeah, we got you, Brian Holman. One quick scoring change. They went and reviewed Marcus Holman's long distance shot. We thought it was a 2. It was ruled a 1. It's been changed to a 2, so it's 7-6. Cannons on top. That is your score.
Yeah, we're on pace for over 50 here. Right around 50.
What did we say on ESPN bet?
Bang the over, hammer the over.
In the previous quarter, goal by number 1 for the Cannons was ruled a 2-pointer in between quarters. Score should be 7-6, Cannons.
All 2-point goals are automatically reviewed after the first, second, and third quarter. In the fourth, they stop play to review. Rob Pennell again taking faceoffs. He's 2 for 2. The Redwoods have a new faceoff weapon come this summer. Here comes Miezon through a thicket of defenders. Absorbs the hit from Fairman. Miezon jump shot score. Folks, he's a different build.
I mean, just good luck trying to stay on top of this. You could see Fairman meet Liaison right at goal line extended. He just basically runs through that cross check.
That's our progressive game flow.
There's just not a lot of guys that have the physicality to be able to match up with him. One of the guys you would think would be Epples on his team.
They've got some size, the Redwoods do. There's Perkovic, he's one of them. 6'4", 225. Miezon, 6'2", almost 240. Dennis, 6'5", 230. Redwoods, yeah, there's some truth behind the team name. Asher Knowlting now, a star at High Point. Finished school as one of the top 10 point getters in the history of NCAA Division I men's lacrosse. Great feed to Matt Campbell on the former Villanova Wildcat cashes.
And I think between Knowlting on Redwoods and Pennell, or Pennell on Redwoods and Knowlting on Cannons, I think we're going to see behind the goal used far more often in this championship series than we did a year ago.
Here's Romar Dennis, Golden Stick Award winner with the Atlas at the Champ Series last year. His shot saved. Dennis got away with a push in the back. No, he didn't. Here's the flag.
Redwoods foul, number 5. 30-second technical push.
I think a bit of a frustration foul here, Anish. I didn't love his take. After the save, you could see right into the back of the Cannons ball carrier. I think that was Drenner. But Dennis, that low angle kind of down the alley, stick to the outside. I would have rather seen him sweep, get to the middle of the field, and fire from 2.
Sixes format means no long poles, which makes man-down defense that much harder.
You really got to protect the 2s. Don't allow somebody to step into 1. As Lanian and Holman can both bring it.
Holman over to Knowlting.
So can Campbell.
Skip pass, Campbell for 2. And that shot missed the cage. 4 points so far for Matt Campbell, who was a PLL All-Star as a rookie.
Yeah, I didn't love how everybody was around the perimeter there. If you're trying to hunt 2s, you got to collapse the defense. You got to send somebody into the crease to force them to protect the interior, and that'll free up the outside.
Nakai Montgomery slithers in. Made his first PLL All-Star team last year, and he is fit for this game as a two-way player. That shot blocked. It'll stay with Boston.
And that Montgomery goal was shorthanded. So from a Cannons perspective, you got an extra defender. Get in, be the free double, the free help there. Really inexcusable goal given up by the Cannons.
You have to think that Kai's playing with a little extra juice after his season ended last year in Salt Lake with a rib injury. He's back at full strength. He's got a little juice in his game.
Pat Aslanyan's shot saved, but the outlet pass off target. There's Fairman. Marked by Dennis. Now Matt Cavanaugh from distance. And it goes back to the Redwoods.
Back to that previous save by Kelly. Two outlets that have kind of gone awry where they clearly had something in transition. If he's able to connect on those are absolute layup slam dunks.
Eagle! 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 Eagle here.
Perkovic. Inside feed, Rogers. Former D3 star at Lynchburg. Off the rebound, here comes Cavanaugh.
What a save by Kirst. In tight there. Punching that top hand across.
Fairman from the outside, that's a two. And the Cannons back on top, 10-9. PLL Champ Series continues Friday when the California Redwoods take on the Philadelphia Water Dogs. Coverage begins at 5:30 Eastern on ESPN2 and ESPN Plus. We get a timeout on the field. We've got a one-goal game here at the St. James in Springfield. Dennis inside the arc, that hits the pipe. It's picked up by Miezon. So Miezon and Dennis both out there. Miezon, great crease feed. Pennell fakes out Kirst and splashes it in.
And that's the underrated part of Miezon's game. I saw him in high school when he was the #1 recruit out of Episcopal. His vision and IQ was off the charts. He was able to win his one-on-one matchups, but his ability to read the defense behind the scenes. Now this is a gorgeous cross crease feed to Pennell on a backdoor cut, catching his defender kind of ball watching.
Great work on the progressive game flow. Marcus Holman, that's a two. And again, Boston attacking from beyond the arc.
And for Redwoods, you got to get out, step out, know the shooters. Right, Holman has that type of range. Meanwhile, you could see Cannons meeting the Redwoods way out, respecting their range. Cannons have too many guys.
Hey, we're extra!
But you might as well stay out now.
This is Garrett Epple, hello! Did you see that one coming? That's a two.
Didn't have the Garrett Epple two-pointer on the bingo card.
It's the defender of the year in the PLL.
Two-point goal on the play. Too many men for red. That gets wiped out. Red ball.
Garrett Epple, the first two for Redwoods.
Yeah.
I mean,
again,
come on.
Not on the bingo card, but if you're...
It's picked up by Miezon. So Miezon and Dennis both out there. Miezon, great crease feed. Pennell fakes out Kirst and splashes it in.
And that's the underrated part of Miezon's game. I saw him in high school when he was the #1 recruit out of Episcopal. His vision and IQ was off the charts. He was able to win his one-on-one matchups, but his ability to read the defense behind the scenes. Now this is a gorgeous cross crease feed to Pennell on a backdoor cut, catching his defender kind of ball watching.
Great work on the progressive game flow. Marcus Holman, that's a two. And again, Boston attacking from beyond the arc.
And for Redwoods, you got to get out, step out, know the shooters. Right, Holman has that type of range. Meanwhile, you could see Cannons meeting the Redwoods way out, respecting their range. Cannons have too many guys.
Hey, we're extra!
But you might as well stay out now.
This is Garrett Epple, hello! Did you see that one coming? That's a two.
Didn't have the Garrett Epple two-pointer on the bingo card.
It's the defender of the year in the PLL.
Good two-point goal on the play. Too many men for red. That gets wiped out. Red ball.
Garrett Epple, the first two for Redwoods.
Yeah.
I mean,
again,
come on.
Not on the bingo card. But if you're Cannons, if the flag is down for too many men, don't come off the field. Right, you've already got the punishment. Just stay out there. Your hand's already caught in the cookie jar. Take the cookie, take a bite.
Play with the +1 advantage. Epple won the Petramalo Award this past season, 3-time All-Star, 4-time first-team All-Pro. 6th tie of this game. Matt Cavanaugh trying to spin away from Rogers. This is Stout. That one hits the pipe. Shot clock reset as Nolting and the Cannons retain possession.
And quick little IQ play there by Nolting, picking up that loose ball. Had that gone out of bounds, it would have been a turnover to Redwoods.
Cavanaugh from goal line extended. Kelly denies the angle. Henningberg up ahead. Here comes Sergio Perkovic. Thought about it. Toe drag, shot, save. Kirst going low.
Kirst, not a ton of saves, but some key critical ones in tight.
Campbell with a tornado of a shot, and there's Kelly with the denial. Outlet ahead, here comes RP3. Pennell drives by Campbell, met by Aslanian. Pennell with a tough angle, another denial by Kirst.
And that's the one, do you take that or do you pull that out, let your full complement of players get on the field? Hard to argue against Rob Pennell going in that little scenario, but didn't have a numbers advantage.
Ryan, come to me, Ryan!
Tierney hounding Holman. Nolting, what a pass! And Ryan Drenner, the finish. Asher Nolting, his old college coach John Torpy used to call him the Magic Johnson of lacrosse, his ability to see over people.
And I'm gonna bring that to modern day, sorry, but he's Jokic. He's Jokic, is he not?
Jokic.
I mean, come on.
Jules Henningberg, that's off the side of the net, fished out by CJ Kirst.
Right there, Ryan, right there,
You would go Magic over Jokic in terms of comparisons? One's in the 80s, one plays now.
Generation, right? 1:16 to go, opening half. Brian Holman's Boston Cannons with a 1-goal lead.
Not to mention Ricky Miezon's playing with we could say a teammate now, but a foe back in the national semifinals, Notre Dame, when they lost to. I said, are you going to be able to get along with them on the same team? He said, yeah, we can play together.
That's part of the pro game, and there's Asher Nolting. Yeah, I saw him warming up early, and I said, hey, what are some of the things that you're looking forward to? And he said, all short sticks.
He's got a big smile on his face, too, when he comes off the field. Maybe a little winded.
And for those not aware of the PLL rosters, the Redwoods littered with Fighting Irish. But on this championship series team, only 3 Notre Dame alums. So maybe a little bit easier for Miezon to get along with them, Dana.
I saw Brian Tevlin and Miezon talking it up before the game, so they're in good spirits. Put the past behind them. No one likes to lose, but...
Opportunity to hold for 1 if you're Redwoods.
Final 22 seconds. Dennis runs off Montgomery.
Last shot, last shot!
Slams on the brakes. Here's Epple, who's knocked one down from 2. Epple using that big frame of his. Turns the corner on Stout. 5 seconds. Here comes Rogers. Henningberg on the doorstep, beats the buzzer.
Filthy handle, filthy finish.
Nolting lets it fly. And a wild, electric, back and forth opening half comes to an end with the Cannons on top, 14-13. Again,
it was parity.
Redwoods, it was Cannons. Explain to us the thought behind bringing geographic affiliations to these teams.
Well, it really is how fans connect with their teams and how players of teams connect back with their fans. It was a matter of time. We had 15 million lacrosse fans in the U.S. when we started. Now there are 45 million. And we felt like the next step to getting the rest of the, what some people would say, 200 million casual sports fans. We saw the NFL rating that came out. How do you get them in? It's through cities.
Well, there's another way to get them in, too, and we look at the map, right? It's not just that these teams have geographical designations. It's you strategically place them in some spots, including Utah and Colorado, which are growing lacrosse hotbeds.
100%. Look, we have 8 teams. We will have more at some point, and we will expand to areas of the map not covered, thinking Great Lakes down to Texas, Pacific Northwest, and Florida. We created these conferences to invite that fandom from those markets that don't have a team. 4 teams per conference, so you see the Western Conference, the Eastern Conference. The way the playoffs will work is that both conference number 1 seeds will have a first-round bye. Then the other 4 teams thereafter will compete into the quarters, semifinals, and championships. So in the past, we had 7 out of 8 teams make playoffs.
And we're bringing back the Denver Outlaws, which is one of those destinations that you always kind of circled when you had that away game at Denver. That crowd, that city just really supporting lacrosse. It was always an incredible atmosphere, always has been. So the Outlaws being back is also pretty cool.
Yeah, and then the playoff format, I think that's unique too, right? What went into structuring it the way you did?
Well, you look at what other leagues do and what is universally understood as a sports fan. So 2 conferences, if you win your conference, you advance. What we will continue to do, though, is the top 4 teams by standings make this tournament every subsequent year.
All right, and this tournament, I want to talk about this because, listen, we know that 10-on-10 lacrosse, right, the traditional field game or the indoor game, that's what people are familiar with. This is the version we'll see at the Olympics. What is the big picture outlook for the sport in terms of viewing it through the prism of an event like this?
I don't know that I could put it more clearly than this is the biggest moment in the sport's history. We are now back into the Olympics.
Really?
And the Olympics bring 3.6 billion people watching around the world. To put that in context, 120 million people watch the Super Bowl. That's 30 Super Bowls. Yeah. We've never had that exposure, so how were we going to present the games? There was criteria. Number 1 was parity.
Yep.
And what you do with this version of the game, which is fast, high impact, it's simple.
Yeah.
And so the other countries that are competing for an Olympic medal, they don't have to worry about having a long pole and a face-off. Last thing is, let me be clear.
Yeah.
We love 10-on-10. All right, I
It's
grew
not
up
going
playing
away.
it. It's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. But this is another version of the game that the world's going to adopt.
And the thing I also love about it is that certain players in sixes become stars. You look at Romar Dennis. I went back and watched last year's. We didn't even bring him up in the Open, and he won the Golden Stick Award. So new heroes emerge with this format as well.
Yeah, you see the athleticism out here tonight. Someone like Jules Henneberg, Ricky Miezon, they all do a great job breaking down their defender. Then you have really great coaches making adjustments based on last year's slide packages and stuff. I'm excited for this tournament.
You brought up Ricky Miezon's name. You said new star. I mean, that's a marriage that appears to be made today.
That shot, the top crossbar had no chance. And here, Bubba Fairman had no chance.
One of the greatest defensive midfielders in the world.
You just see the overall sheer physicality. And then on the other side, you see the incredible skill. Holman played in last year's championship series with Archers. He recognizes from a strategic standpoint, you gotta challenge the goalie from 2-point, increase your odds, fire from range.
I love that we showed those 2 guys. Not only they play well, but they embody different amazing features of this game. Ricky's more raw. This game's built for someone like that, his athleticism and skill. Marcus is what I would call world class. He just understands the game so well. He plays it, he's poised, he sets up his teammates, finds himself time and room from 2. I love it. The last thing I'll say, sixes. So it's going to look a lot like this.
Yeah.
Which I think has been a challenge for our sport up to this point because the women's outdoor game 12-on-12, the men 10-on-10.
Same rules, same format, easier to follow.
No doubt.
And a lot of Charlotte North goals, I assume.
I would assume so. I think it's a safe bet.
Paul Rabel. Paul, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
So far, we're off to a great start here in the PLL Championship Series. One half of one game and just a plethora of goals. You got the Cannons and the Redwoods decided so far by 1.
Vic. So Cannons, to their credit, are doing a good job getting out the 2-point arc. Can Redwoods capitalize on that and get inside to open up the deep threat?
Down to Dana.
How about the 6 ties and 5 lead changes we got, RB? But I got Ricky Miezon here. You're playing in your first sixes experience, first time in a Redwoods jersey. What's it like out there in that first half?
The guys have been treating me really well, treating me like one of their own. It's definitely up and down. I think that's one of our things. We're going to try and slow it down a little bit, get some possession, save our lungs a little bit in the second half, and try and hit some 2 bombs.
You've got some experience on the football field. How does that translate to the lacrosse field?
Definitely with like the agility, the speed of play, all of it translates to being athletic and athleticism, so it all helps.
Good luck out there in the second half. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, he's been an absolute dynamo. Not only his goals, Anish, but he's had some really physical play between the lines. I think looking at this second half, do you think either team maybe goes to a zone a little bit? This is the first of 3 round robin games. Try to, save your legs a little bit. Also, like, it is a little bit of a laboratory, these first 3 games leading into the semifinals. Like, throw a look out there, kind of see what works with your personnel.
What we found through the course of the weeks leading up to this, nobody is really sold yet on any one strategy on how to succeed in this format.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Redwoods in that first half kind of go with these shifts, almost like hockey style, where you play defense then offense, or offense and defense and get off. As we've got a.
That's Chris Aslanian. He is down. Both teams made a change at goalie at halftime. Tim Troutner in for the Redwoods, Adam Gittleman for the Cannons, and Aslanian down. Brian Holman, his head coach, will come out to see him.
Takes a cross check kind of after the shot. It didn't look like anything malicious from Tierney. It wasn't like one of those big blow-up hits.
Aslanian, a lefty, 4 2-pointers last season, known for that hard outside shot, able to bounce up and jog off.
So you were making the point before the injury, the goalie change, right? So these goalies see so much rubber, and they're gonna have 3 round robin games. Most of the teams you're gonna see employ one of 2 strategies, either split halves or give a guy the whole game and then give him off the following game.
And when I talked to Adam Gittleman, Boston's goalie, before the game, he said the hard part mentally, you allow 1, okay, turn, rake, pitch it. You allow 2, rinse, repeat. When you allow 3 in a row, then can you really lock in and not let that turn into an avalanche?
And what Gittleman provides for Boston is his athleticism out of the cage. I expect to see him make some ground ball plays. You can see the instincts there, diving out the backup, which doesn't exist.
And he said the other big thing was you rely a lot on scouting reports. Guys are going to get to their shots, but are they getting to their spots? This guy likes to shoot from here. This guy doesn't like to shoot from here. So he said you're relying almost more on your scouting reports. He told me he was very relaxed. He had a pretty good sweat going pregame, and he said, I'm not going to overthink this. That's intercepted by Henningberg, can't pick it up. Campbell and Eppel in a battle for it. Not used to seeing Eppel play with a short stick. That's still jarring. Henningberg tries to kick it back, but the shot clock expires.
Yeah, and they're going to say that Henningberg kind of knocked that down as opposed to a clean interception. So the shot clock continued to run. Hence the violation at the 30-second mark.
90 seconds into the quarter, nobody's scored. Here's Rob Pennell. And on cue, RP3 ties it at 14.
And off your screen, you saw a 2-man game between Tevlin and Dennis, trying to free up Dennis. So therefore, there was just a ton of space for Pennell with that 3-man action.
Troutner, the goalie, getting into it with Pat Aslanian. And it looks like it's going to stay with the Cannons. This weekend, we've got 2 NHL Stadium Series outdoor games on ABC and ESPN+. Saturday, Flyers, Devils. Sunday, Rangers and Islanders. Here's Fairman. Ran out of an angle. Feet in front. Off the bounce. Holman's shot deflected. And it skips out of bounds. Another shot clock violation. And the Redwoods have it. So defensively, what's different?
Well, you see 2 straight possessions, the shot clock violation, more pressure off ball, way out past the 2-point arc. That whole possession, Marcus Holman was floating around 15, 16 yards, and Tierney was out there covering him.
Rogers over to Nakai Montgomery against Matt Cavanaugh. Montgomery turns, fires, easy save, Gittleman.
You will see Adam Gittleman make a save and go coast to coast. That is happening. That is on the bingo card.
He said he wasn't sure if he was allowed to go past the midfield line.
As long as somebody stays back, he
That's
can.
right. Yeah, I think that might be more of a decision from the sideline. Trenner shot saved. Knowlton able to pick it up.
3 straight possessions for Redwoods defensively where they really buckled down.
Knowlton gets inside. Troutner got a stick on it. Troutner and Knowlton teammates at high point, and the chirping starting to pick up.
Bragging rights to Troutner on his former teammate there. A few extra words, maybe a little bit joke, but there's always a little truth in some jokes.
There comes Miezon. Spins it too high for Tevlin.
Yeah, he had him. Had the look, just wasn't able to execute. You could see him slam his fists together there in frustration. But that's the vision I talked about earlier that was on display back in his high school days.
Sixes format features the top 4 teams from a year ago. We'll see the Water Dogs and Archers next. Out of the chaos. That's a hard shot by Stout, turned away.
Somebody ate that.
It comes back to Raw. Miezon, wraparound check. Holman for 2, save by Troutner. 4 minutes into this quarter, he's yet to yield a goal.
Yeah, and that's where Troutner and Kelly, I think, make a good 1-2 combo. One's a righty, one's a lefty, so you got to adjust to that as a shooter.
As Lanyon back on the sideline, Chris that is, Pat out on the field. Pat has Lanyon calling for it. Plenty of time to shoot. Too high. If you're just joining us, you're familiar with the rules of 10-on-10 field lacrosse. When you've got 10-on-10, you shoot it out of bounds, you can still get possession. Not in this format. Cannons are 0 for 6 shooting this quarter. Redwoods 1 for 5. Here comes Sergio Perkovic, the Motor City hitman. Over to Jules Henningberg. Dips inside, Apple on the doorstep, kick save, cursed. Or rather, Gittleman.
Yeah, and that's a super slippery move by Henningberg to get inside. That's where I would have loved to see him throw a little pump fake to Apple and just shoot it himself. Little KYP, know your personnel. I know he's got vision and ability to distribute, but be selfish there and take your own shot.
Knowlton almost turned it over. It's picked up by Rogers. Rogers works out of an ambush.
Push. Feels like this game has slowed a bit in terms of pace.
Calm seas after an early tempest. Now it's Pinnell. Shot clock at 6, at 5. Romar coming and fires it wide.
And that was really the hallmark of Dennis in terms of last year's championship series. Catching that high above the 2-point arc. One quick move, gets his hands free and lets it go.
He was the leading scorer at the Champ Series last year. Without a goal, without a point, he's 0 for 4 shooting. Holman, straight down the middle, and that's a goal. First goal of the second half for Boston. And that's 5 for the PLL Attackman of the Year in 2023, Marcus Holman. Here comes Montgomery. Fairman tried to wrestle it away. It punches up ahead. Bubba can't scoop it. Montgomery gets it back. Shot clock never reset. 2 to shoot. 1 and a shot clock violation. The Redwoods had no idea.
Yeah, I think that they thought the Cannons got possession on that turnover. similar to the play earlier, Fairman never got that cleanly, so the shot clock continued to run.
The UFC 298 Saturday night, highlighted by a featherweight title main event. Main card begins at 10 Eastern on pay-per-view. Ryan Drenner spins it back to Matt Cavanaugh inside the arc, and it skirts wide.
Got to put that on cage. That's a clean quality look for Cavanaugh. Got to challenge Troutner. And those missed shots, they're also a turnover, but you kind of slowly pick it up like Troutner did, and it allows you to substitute so you have more juice on the shot clock on the next offensive possession.
Where have the goals? Romar Dennis.
And it was all set up by an off-ball pick by Tevlin, so they were able to hit Dennis in motion. So when he catches that, he's already got a little bit of a running start ahead of steam.
Redwoods with a 1-goal lead. They trailed by 1 at halftime. Matt Cavanaugh wiggles down the alley and stuffs it home.
Beautiful extension there by Cavanaugh. As he's fading behind the cage, he extends his stick out to increase his angle and find daylight past Troutner.
Much better shot selection by the Cannons here.
Perkovic splits a couple of defenders. That one hits the pipe. Ricochets back toward Holman. 12 seconds to go in the quarter. Tied at 16. Holman against Miezon. 5 seconds. Bouncer turned away. Troutner springs out of the cage.
Go, Timmy.
Troutner
Go,
across
Timmy.
midfield. Time expires. Would not have counted. This game has featured 8 ties, and we go to the final stanza of regulation, all square at 16. The California Redwoods, the Boston Cannons, in the first game of this 2024 PLL Championship Series, putting on a show at the St. James in Springfield.
Let's go, Ash. Let's go, Kirsty. Do your thing, boy. Starters are doing a picture up there with Kirsty. Hey, let's go. 1, hard cut. 2, I'll get the ball. 3, you're hanging lefty. Hey, see it. See it, Dren. See it, Dren. All day, all day. Yeah, 30. Right, should be a hole. Good job, Cap.
There's Marcus Holman. He's the leading scorer in the game with 6 points, including a couple of 2-pointers.
Yeah, he's been lights out for the Cannons today, and really understanding how to play in the championship series. Those 2 2-pointers will transition from player Holman to Coach Holman. Coach Holman, you're looking at halftime, 27 combined goals between the two teams. In that third quarter, you guys only had 2. Redwoods had 3. So did both coaches just come up with defensive strategies for this third quarter? Or do you think the pace of play, what led to that slower third quarter?
Yeah, I mean, I got Brody Merrill over here, so we went in and just diagnosed a completely new defense and came out and played it now. No, they, I think, a little bit of fatigue is setting in, right? And the pace of the first 2 quarters, RB, was like absurd, right? And I don't think anybody's going to hold up under that duress. So I think this was more lacrosse and fatigue than anything, right? So we'll see how this all works out. Going into the fourth.
When we spoke earlier in the week, you mentioned kind of trying some different things. What have you learned so far through about 3 quarters of play that you didn't know before?
I mean, I just think it's patience. There's just so many plays that are happening out there that you can't just get caught up in 1 turnover or 1 bad shot or 1 good play or 1 good pass. It's really patience, and it's a long term. It's a long term commitment, and it's a long term event, right? Nothing's going to be won here tonight. And it's just what do we pick up and learn from it and try to get better at for the next event.
The one thing you guys have done a tremendous job of defensively, despite that last play, is limiting the Redwoods from the two-point arc. How much of that was a focal point coming in today?
RB, say that again. I missed you there, bud.
One thing you have done really well defensively is limit the Redwoods from the two-point line. How much of that was a focal point for you guys coming in?
It's huge. It's huge. You know, and right now they just scored a big 2, but we're not playing well right now, and I got to get off of this broadcast to maybe assist my team a little bit and some duress.
Thanks, Coach. Best of luck the rest of the way.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much.
We didn't let them coach. They gave up 4 in a row. Here comes Josh Stout. Now Ryan Drenner. Split dots down the alley. Yes.
So the Cannons are going to be blaming me for that run?
No doubt.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
It's all your fault, Rudy. All your fault.
What went wrong? Well, I started talking to Ryan Boyle. Montgomery misses the cage.
But then you stopped talking and Drenner scored, so you're in their good graces now.
It's a tough plus-minus, though, Ryan, for day 1, game 1.
Plenty of time left. Again, that missed shot affords the Cannons to get their substitutes out early.
At Dana, too, you mentioned shot selection. Well, 3-goal game now, 4th quarter. That becomes paramount for Boston.
Well, it's an interesting dynamic. Is it bad shot selection by the Cannons, or is it better defense by the Redwoods as they're pressing out to sort of eliminate that, too, that we saw so much in the first half? Pick your poison, almost.
Pennell, the crease feed. Tierney circumnavigates the cage. Pass Lanyon all over him. Shot clock at 2. Perkovic, the bouncer, snuffed out by Gittleman.
And there's little mini plays like that double team by Aslanyan, really heady play. There was a free double as Tierney turned the corner. Pennell got caught out the play. That might not have been a design slide, but Aslanyan recognized, hey, I can double real quick.
Drenner to Nolting, that hit somebody. Troutner able to scoop it up, he lost it. Troutner and Nolting in a battle, former High Point teammates. Matt Kavanaugh's got it, it's a scramble. Asher Nolting over to Holman. Hard shot on the bazooka, offline.
And we talked about Gittleman out of the cage. Troutner affords you some of that with his athleticism. And you go back, he scored a goal in the PLL All-Star game a few years back, so he's pretty nifty outside the net.
I talked to him at the break, RB, and he said he's going to get one.
Feeling confident, we get a timeout by the Redwoods and their head coach, Chris Collins. 20-17, 4:49 to go. Troutner, that's been an interesting pro career for him. He was the PLL Rookie of the Year, really came on the scene, and then Jack Kelly, over the course of the last year and a half, kind of won that job back.
Okay? That's where we need to be right now. It's all mental. And fix your body language right now.
Save percentage clip, which is remarkable in this format.
No doubt. How about the pick? Ethan Rawl, 1-on-none, takes it all the way. There's a breakaway. You never see that in 10-on-10.
And Rawl continues his streak of caused turnovers. He led the PLL in that stat last summer. We were wondering if he was going to be able to do it with a short stick. The answer is yes.
2-point game. Perkovic from the outside. It trickles in. That's a 2. 22-18. Almost to the midpoint of this 4th quarter. Campbell hits the pipe. Drenner gets it back. No angle. Cross crease pass. He wanted Stout. Popped into the air. Matt Kavanaugh takes it and scores.
Kavanaugh cleans up the loose change, but you saw the heady play by Troutner, abandoning the crease to intercept that pass, just wasn't able to hold on to it.
Now Miezon against Chris Aslanyan. Rob Pennell has put together one of the great pro careers of all time. Wanted Miezon instead of turnover. Cannons had success with the 2-point shot in the first half. Nolting doubled. Kavanaugh off the side of the cage. Drenner and Troutner battle. And Troutner baited Drenner and comes up with the ball.
And that was a pretty wise.
Miazon, all right, here comes the bull dodge. The Amtrak train. Kavanaugh has it stick checked away. Miazon goes down, lost the ball. Holman off the scramble. He's got Roll inside. Holman beats his man. Bounce shot and a score.
I was a little surprised that wasn't a push from behind at the midfield line. It looked like that contact on Miazon was on his back.
When you're that big, I mean, you think about how many foul calls Shaq never got. It's not fair. Here comes Perkovic. Pat Aslanyan picks him up. Tevlin, straight down the middle. Brian Tevlin, yes.
Didn't love the spacing on Redwoods there offensively, but Tevlin does a good job of recognizing the opportunity just to knife through the defense as we get a timeout here by Boston. Look at Miazon in transition, just running through Kavanaugh. And then Holman, a little bit of a twister there at the end. And Tevlin, that's the crease that I was referencing. He kind of fully recognized, like, wait, there's an aggressive opportunity to go right through the cage here.
Tevlin had a couple of goals like that during Champ Weekend a year ago.
For you, Marcus, right?
We could just do it. I mean, yeah.
We can cycle. We can go. Let's just go what we ran last. Let's just go what we ran last night.
Yeah, ball starts over there.
Ball, just Cav.
Get it to me.
All right.
I'm coming back to you.
They can follow me. Then throw it. Yeah. Hey, and if it's not there, look for the one on the slip, and we'll take the one. Yeah. Okay. All right. If it's not there, we'll take the one. All right. Here we go. All right. Let's go. All right. Let's go. Score on one. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Go.
Couple of things to remember. 30-second shot clock. So you look at the time. This isn't really the type of format with 2:13 to go, 3-goal lead. Yeah, squeezing the ball isn't quite the play that it might be in a normal 10v10 lacrosse game.
Yeah, you're not in full desperation mode just yet, especially with the 2-point arc being in play. And that's where you could kind of sense in the huddle they're trying to draw something up from 2, but like, hey, like if it's not there, like a 1 is fine.
Probing from beyond the arc. It's a 13-yard arc. 13 feet arc, 2 feet closer than the PLL. Matt Campbell shot on the run. 23-21, less than 2 minutes to go.
And they ran a little elevator play, a la basketball, kind of Steph Curry, that shooter going through double picks. The 2 wasn't there for Campbell. He wisely passed it up.
Rogers, crease feet off the stick of Tierney.
The flip side, though, Anish, is you don't really have like a great, with the no long poles, it's not like you could double the ball to try to get it back, so you don't want to squeeze the clock, but defensively, hard to create turnover opportunities.
2 ties it. Nolting over to Holman. That's for the tie, and Holman with a tour de force game.
You can't double if you're Henningberg there. You can't double Nolting inside the 2-point arc, leaving Holman. If that was a defenseman, if that was somebody that didn't have the range, okay.
Chris Collins calls for time. Marcus Holman with 3 2-pointers and a 9-point evening.
Yeah, I just did not like this double team. You could see Nolting going one-on-one. You could see Henningberg just kind of hedged down just a little bit. And Nolting, of all players, had 20 assists last summer. He's a feeder. He's a distributor. Holman's the finisher and one of the best, right? You know, Nolting, he's got 3 assists on the day. which leads all players. And Holman's got 3 2-pointers, which leads all players. You got to know your personnel in that scenario. Time, clock, score, personnel.
You were talking about Nolting. I asked him last summer, I'm like, how did you become such a good feeder? And he said he'd play in the backyard with his dad, and his dad could not catch a lacrosse ball to save his life. So he had to have precision when he was feeding his dad the ball so he could catch it. You know, you talk about that box above your right and left shoulder when you're a little kid trying to catch a ball. Well, that's what he had to do with his dad, so he credits his dad why he's an elite feeder.
Is that like a backhanded compliment to his dad?
Well, I'll tell you now.
It's like a good dad move.
His dad was giving him reps in the backyard.
It's like
now his dad was a heck of a golfer.
That's right. That's right.
Heck of a golfer. Asher's a terrific golfer too. And Dana, last year I thought where Asher Nolting really took a leap, assist numbers almost double, turnovers cut in half. He became a more efficient player.
And he had less turnovers too. And you have to think maybe that was the system that Brian Holman put him in. Big props to Coach Holman, but he's just come alive now in his 3rd year as a pro.
Romar Dennis stings the back of the net. You knew Romar was coming. That's a big 2. Less than a minute to go. And now another timeout. Brian Holman will use his final timeout. Now Dennis had been quiet for Romar Dennis from what we saw last year. That was loud.
Yeah, that quick separation on Fairman, you could see the help coming, and the slide is trying to come to Dennis's stick, but it just doesn't matter. His ability to create separation so effortlessly, and then get his hands free and shoot that 2 on the run. And now if you're Cannons, this is desperation mode. You have to try to generate a 2 here.
You may only have one more possession.
Yeah,
and again, here's where the rules matter. No backups.
All right, we're going to roll back. All right, Asher, right to you. That makes sense? Yeah. We got plenty of time.
Listen,
we got 25 seconds.
Yeah, if they're way out and your hands are gunked up, we can just get a 1.
Yes, yes.
All right?
One's going to be wide open.
Yes.
One's going to be wide open.
Yes. All right, so just take what they give you.
Player, yeah.
All right, just take what they give you. All right, score on 1. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Score.
And there's 50.
If you get a 1, though, it better be quick. It better be quick. Because you gotta account for the 30-second rundown on the other side of things. And that's assuming the Redwoods don't score in that 30 seconds.
We do have one more game today. It's Archers and Water Dogs. You can watch it on the ESPN app. Goal to goal, 50 yards. Chris Aslanian to trigger. He gets it back from Drenner. Checked by Miezon. Holman.
Here it comes down.
Down to Nolting from the high wing against Dennis. Nolting pushed back. Campbell, that's a 1. His foot was on the line. Well, they say 2. It was a 2, and I think they're going to look at it. They're going to look at it.
Take a look right now, make sure.
Matty Palem will go to the monitor. If it is a 2, we're tied.
The previous goal was ruled a 2-pointer. We're going to confirm that ruling.
Ryan, I thought maybe he had his foot on the line. Where's the foot when he releases? Oh boy, that is awfully close.
How about this? I mean, there's green in between his toe. I mean, that's what I thought I saw. I knew it was close. All right?
So do you want to see one more?
Yeah, if we have one more, that'd be great.
That's going to be a 2.
I still got green in between.
You see him saying, I see green between the line.
Yeah, I don't see anything where I got a toe on the line. I had, you know, that looks distorted, but go back.
What are you thinking, man? Okay, one more.
Like,
let's go ahead and see this.
Go ahead. Yeah. That's a 2-pointer. Call on the field stands, 2-point goal.
Not enough evidence to overturn it. You continue to hear Matty Palem say, hey, I see green between the shoe and the line. Matt Campbell has been their second best offensive player after Marcus Holman today.
Yeah, and it was great execution there. They tried to run that same kind of pin down for Campbell. It wasn't there. Knowlton carries. Redwoods over-aggressive on that carry. That's what freed up that throwback opportunity.
So we're tied at 25, but the Redwoods with 35.5 seconds, you got a chance to bring this clock down and play for one shot.
Got to get it over.
Anningberg does. Anningberg clock into single digits. Pennell's had a big game. Turns the corner. Pennell, backhanded shot, offline. The Cannons can win it. 8 seconds. Here comes Holman.
He's got Knowlton.
He's been the star of the game. Dumps it off. Aslanian picks it up. Campbell won't count.
Woo. How's this for your first PLL Championship Series
like
game?
Welcome to the Ragnarok. You can't catch your breath, not in this game. 25-25 after 4 quarters of play, we go to OT.
And after a slow third quarter, that fourth one had some fireworks.
Yeah,
this is where I saw Knowlton come up the
third quarter.
Yeah. I thought they had Knowlton coming out of the box with a full head of steam. Not a lot of shot clock, or not a lot of clock time, because they advanced the ball there.
So here are the rules for overtime, sudden victory. First goal wins, no timeouts. And the game will continue in 4-minute periods. I'd be surprised if we needed more than one 4-minute period.
And all face-off men right now are sitting on the couch saying, you wish you had me now. You wish you had me now. Redwoods have won 3 of 4. Pennell has gone 2 for 3.
Yeah, Tevlin's won the other. Rawl has taken 2. For Boston, he's won 1. Wild finish to cap regulation.
Yeah, the double team on Knowlton frees up Holman from range. This is what we thought was going to seal it right here. The Dennis too. But then Boston responds with Campbell barely behind that 2-point arc again on a Knowlton assist.
And again, in a game with such a frenetic pace, you had that replay review. That's a free timeout.
Yeah, good point. But despite that, Redwoods weren't really able to generate anything on the subsequent offensive possession. Pennell had the ball in his stick with the opportunity to end the game. Now he's gonna have to win a face-off in order to do so.
Rob Pennell and Ethan Rawl will take the face-off. They only face off at the start of the quarter. A game that's featured 9 ties, 7 lead changes, and 92 shots. And Rob Pennell, a face-off maestro, 3 out of 4 this evening. Here comes Miezon. Next goal wins. Sergio Perkovic over to Dennis. They got their outside assassins. Dennis, Miezon, and Perkovic all in there. Romar wins it for the California Redwoods. The leading scorer in the Champ Series last year, awarded the Golden Stick a year ago, opens the Champ Series this year with a huge goal late in regulation for 2, and then the game winner early in OT.
Wearing the gold and green. What a moment for Dennis. A little left to right split He's heading down the alley. You're kind of like, he's running out of space, running out of daylight. Watch the deception he puts on the end of this. That little head bod down gets Gittleman to adjust. That slight body movement is all the space he needs to use his 6'5" frame to dunk it over the top of the goaltender.
Should have put a long pole on him. Sneak one out on the field. 21 seconds into OT, and Romar Dennis started slow, finished strong.
You look at Redwoods offensively, and him and Pinnell, that 1-2 punch, and now Ricky Miezon, wild card, Anish.
Dana's with Chris Collins.
Thanks, Anish. Coach Collins, 93 shots in this game. How do you best describe the play?
Electric. This is by far my favorite kind of lacrosse to watch, coach. I'm sad that I never got a chance to play it, but credit to both teams. This was everything that it's built up to be.
Do you have any more eligibility? Maybe we'll see you suit up?
I do not. Maybe for my kids.
How about Romar Dennis? He's an obvious star in this league, but that's a huge two-pointer. How happy are you to have him on your team?
Oh, success. You want to see your guys succeed, and he was great.
And Ricky Miezon, another player. Maybe a wild card to some, but you knew who he was capable of.
Rookie magic.
Can we use that trademark?
We'll try.
How does it feel to get your first win as a head coach, acting head coach for the Redwoods?
Feels good.
Are you going to tell us what the text message from Nat says?
I'm sure it's sent already. All right, but I love him. Miss you, buddy.
Thanks for the time.
One more. Happy Valentine's Day,
Happy Valentine's Day.
Well played.
That's how you score points.
Well played.
That's how you score points. We missed that memo, huh?
And now if we sneak it in now, it's...
You only said it because he said it. Can't win that game. Final score here, the Redwoods win it 26-25 against the Cannons. We still have one more game for you. It's on the ESPN app. Water Dogs Archers. Oh, the last time we saw those two play PLL championship a year ago.
And what a thrilling finish to that one. Jake Caraway, last second 2-point shot gets deflected away. Caraway had a huge championship series last year. Really was a tryout for him to a degree. He had such an incredible championship series with Atlas. Water Dogs were like, hey, wait a second. We'll pick you up. Why don't you come over here? He switches from attack to midfield and had a fantastic season. Joining him on Water Dogs, their first championship series, Michael Sowers on the right side. How do you keep up with him? And then Kieran McCardle on the left side. That 1-2 punch is going to be such a handful offensively.
And if you forgot, last year during the Champ Series, Jake Caraway wasn't even healthy. Playing essentially on one foot, really couldn't play a whole lot of defense, but he could score.
Wasn't the highlight, but my favorite moment was him catching the ball directly in front of the goal, running backwards to shoot a fadeaway jump shot 2-pointer. It was Sixes in a nutshell.
And he made it.
Yes.
Final score from the opening game of the PLL Championship Series, the Sixes format, which is what you will see when lacrosse is an Olympic sport in 2028. Highly entertaining, back and forth affair. The Redwoods beat the Cannons 26-25. We still have the Philadelphia Water Dogs and the Utah Archers. That's on the ESPN app. Miami Clemson ACC basketball coming your way next here on ESPN2. For now, though, we'll get it to the studio in Bristol. Some guys who are going to have lacrosse jokes. Seth Greenberg, I'm not taking it from you. Or you, Kevin Connors. Sean Farnham, you too.